Hey, what's up, guys? So the semi-wipe dropped yesterday, and I wanted to play the semi-wipe before I actually went over this and kind of had my opinion on this because I know some people thought some things were okay, some people weren't happy with some of it. So I played for about 10 hours yesterday during the semi-wipe, and actually I'm surprised because some of the changes on here, like when I initially read it, I thought it was going to be an issue, but after playing the game, it was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, let's just go over here. So the game updates. 6.9 season has begun. This is the semi wipe. They pretty much reset everything: characters, items, stashes, inventory, tokens, karma, everything. They give us a little welcome delivery packet, which had like heals and bandages and lockpicks and stuff. Pretty much this 6.9 semi wipe is going to be 1 month long. 2 weeks of it are going to be SSF mode, and then the last 2 weeks, I believe, market's going to be open. So that'll be interesting. And then following that, so it's going to be a month long, and then after that, it's going to be the water map, which is like the big anticipated full wipe with the full season. But yeah, so pretty much one of the changes here: normal dungeons have been changed to solo, duos, and trios. They brought it back. So that's cool. And actually, it's not just normals, it's HR. So normals and HR is solos, duos, and trios. So you can select what game mode and, what map. Well, unless you're in High Roller, that's another thing. The High Roller maps is now like a random dungeon queue, right? So you pick solo, duo, or trio for your High Roller dungeon, and then it randomly throws you into a dungeon. A lot of people don't really like this because if you end up getting like ice caves, or and then go to Ice Abyss, it's just, some people don't like that map. The map has high density of mobs. The kobold screaming and calling a backup is really annoying. All the skeletons give you like a debuff, a slow debuff. So that's pretty unfun. And honestly, I think it's an issue with the map itself. I think the top floor ice caves needs to be reworked. I think they need to totally like cut down some of the mob density because it is pretty excessive. Also, they need to add more POIs because like the only POI in ice caves right now would be the horde that's like in the middle of the room. But other than that, there's no floor one boss. So Ice Caves needs a floor one boss, and it needs to rework some of the rooms with like how many mobs are in there. And then I think it won't be as bad. I kind of do like the random dungeon because like before you would you would pick your specific map, right? So say you would pick Goblin Caves, and the whole time you're running into druids and barbarians, and it's frustrating. But now it's random in HR, so you might run into clerics, you might run into wizards. It's kind of like interesting. It changes the dynamic of the dungeons, and same with like ice is just druids and rogues. And now when you get in there, you might run into a fighter, you might run into any other comps that they may not be good in that environment, but it's random, so you like never know what you're gonna get. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. I just think they need to fix ice, so people actually enjoy the map, and then I don't think people would complain as much. Okay, so one of the biggest changes, in my opinion, are the keys. These keys are insane now. The drop rate for like bosses, for I think it's just the skull key on the big bosses, and then I think the mystic gems and the golden key and the old rusty key, these drop on sub bosses, and then the frozen key drops on wyvern and sub bosses as well, like wendigos and stuff. The drop rate is insane. Like for the big bosses, it's almost 100% drop rate, I'm pretty sure. But the catch is with the new keys, there's no market, obviously, so I don't think you can even list them in market, even like at end of wipe when market will appear. But they disappear out of your inventory anyway. Like once you extract with the key, say you want to keep it and bring in your stash, it disappears. So you have to use it in the dungeon. So it's kind of cool, and they drop insane, right? So it like creates like a POI. Like there's a few times where I'd be like, oh, I got a key, and then I would go to the key room like in Inferno, and somebody would be in there who already found another key from a sub boss, and I'm like, oh shit, and so I'm fighting this guy now on the pile that's in the key room. So I think this is a huge W change they needed to do, and the community has been talking about this for like at least a year, talking about needing to give purposes to keys and because before the keys are only just used as like storing value, like it definitely contributed to like RMT and stuff. So now that that's not going to be a thing, I think the new value storage item is probably going to be the unique gems, probably unique diamonds, unique rubies and sapphires and stuff. But yeah, we didn't really need these keys to just be for value. I'm glad they changed this, and it's only in dungeon. We don't have to worry about selling skull keys for GKs and then selling GKs for gold. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's going to be nice. But yeah, they increased the drop rate for the keys like significantly. Like it's ridiculous. It's almost 100% on big bosses. Special locked rooms have been added to adventure normal mode. I never checked this out. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know about this. All I know is Goblin Caves. Actually, let me pull it up so I can show you guys exactly where these rooms are. Right, so now that we have the map pulled up for crypts, on this, there's different layouts, right? So there's a couple different areas you can go and use your gold keys on crypts. One of them is Treasure Room, which is down in here. You just open this gate, you go down in here, and then it's, I think it's either the one on the left or the one on the right. One's an iron door, and I believe one's a golden key door. And then say you want to go to a different module, right? The other one would be, I don't know if it shows it in here. There should be Colosseum. It's not showing it here, but there's a Colosseum where there's like a big circle essentially, and in the middle of the big circle is where the gold key is. It's above the Horde, essentially. That's where it's at on crypts. All right, and then for Goblin Caves, the Mystical Gem Room, I believe, is in here in the Goblin Rooms. You drop down in this hole, and then you go down, you kill a Goblin Mage, and then you go deep down, and then you use the Mystic Gem in there. So that's where it's at in the Goblin Rooms. And then the Ice Abyss Frozen Key is over here in the Charnel House. You drop down in here, there's a couple skeletons, and then it's not one of these. I think it's like in here. In here, there's the gate, and then you just open the gate. And then last but not least, Inferno, where the Skull Key room is, it's in here. There's like lava pit down here. You drop down in here, and then there's a big gate. You open the big gate, and then there's a little lever on the ground. You pull the lever, and a bridge pops out, and then you go in, and then you open the key door right here. That's where that's at Inferno. And for Ruins. In Ruins, the Rusty Iron Key is underneath bridge. I believe it's facing this way. You drop off the bridge, and I think you drop down, and there's two little barricades you break down here. You break the barricade, you go in here, and it's underneath here is the Rusty Iron Key. There's typically like a golem or like a cockatrice under there you gotta kill. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do that. But yeah, so now that you know how to get all the keys and the locations and stuff, yeah, it's a pretty cool change. You should check it out. The loot is there. It's pretty insane. There's at least a Marvelous chest and a gold pile that you can hit. So if you don't know a boss or anything, you know, just kill sub-bosses, get those keys, and go in there. It's free loot. All right, so another change they had, Arena map pool has been updated. We haven't seen this yet because Arena's not out. But also there was a change. We'll get to it. Essentially, Arena is going to be like Blue Bis now. Blue is like the highest rarity for Arena for this semi wipe. So that'll be interesting. Quest requirements and difficulty has been adjusted to match a shorter season. So it's like, I think it's majority of the same quest. It's just like a less cost. There's not as many items that you need. Weekly sales for cosmetics will be available during the shortened season. Display time for the recent chat window has been increased from 10 to 15. New features have been added that automatically displays the remaining maintenance time as a system message. Okay, balance changes. These are insane. Okay, so they brought the name tags back for allies, which is huge, because I honestly got tired of killing my teammates. It was kind of pissing me off. The spellcast speed curve and I believe the action speed curve were changed. So spellcast speed early on, I think each knowledge gives you like 3% as opposed to before it was like 2.5. But on the higher end, the more knowledge you have, the harder it is to get cast speed. I was playing with Zuffy, the homie, and he was like struggling to get to like 85% spellcast speed with like Abyss Wizard Kit, and normally you could easily get to 100%. So like on the top end of gear, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get spellcast speed, and I'm assuming it's the same way with action speed. I didn't actually test it, but I'm just assuming so. I don't really know why they did this change. I don't think spellcast speed was really an issue, but maybe they just wanted to slow down the game. So what do you do? Another thing, oh my goodness. Okay, my favorite change is the maximum health curve was adjusted to give less HP for vigor and strength at the mid to upper end of the curve, but they gave everybody plus 15 health across the board back. W. And not only that, you're like, oh great, barbarians are even more OP. Nope, they nerfed barbarians vigor by 5 health points. So that's a W. Now you can actually like 2 and 3 tap barbarians, which is very nice, at least in the lower and mid end. Huge change. Like this, I think when they took this away, I don't remember what season it was, but this is when the game started to go downhill. I think it was Hotfix 69 is when they took this away, and that's when the game just started to be unfun, and the TTK was just way too low, and the fights couldn't drag on. People just instantly died to rangers and stuff like that because your HP, and all the casters kind of got screwed. Because now they're getting one-tapped by classes with high fizz power bonus, like Barbarians or Halberd Locks and stuff like that. But now that they re-added the health pool, It's very nice. It's very nice. Some of the items that were changed, random modifiers has been updated to include a large variety of possible stats. I think, from what I heard, is magical heal all around got nerfed, but you can now get magical heal on different items. Because I was getting plate helmets with magical heal on it, and plate gloves with magical heal on it. So that was kind of interesting. They brought back True Fizz in True Magic on rings. That's another thing. But yeah, all primary modifiers for gear has been reduced by one starting from the uncommon grade. For example, uncommon grade cloth used to give 4, now gives 3. So they nerfed the base stats of gear slightly. Primitive attributes can no longer be enchanted via socketing gems. Since this means the diamond gem is no longer useful for socketing, players can exchange your diamond gems for the treasure. Okay, so another thing that's back, there are unique gems that are back, obviously. And the diamonds no longer socket for stats. So now, instead, you go to the treasurer and you can exchange your diamond for any other gem of your choice. So, interesting change. I see what they wanted to do. They didn't want people to be able to just stack stats anymore. So, and they had to give diamonds a purpose. So, I think that was an okay fix. Unique grade gems have been re-added to the pool. Yep. Rapier base damage increased by 1. Cool. Void Blade has been updated to 2 True Magic. Interesting change. Okay. Felling Axe weapon animation has been slightly reduced. I know they buffed it crazy style, so it looks like they just re-nerfed it. Plate Boots primary modifier has been changed from strength to vigor. This could be huge. Plate Boots might be insane now because of the vigor change. It might be insane for front lines. We'll have to test it out. Fighter. Duration of time has been reduced from 10 to 8. Okay, that was a slight nerf. The magic resistance of anti-magic has been changed. Slight buffed here, which is nice because it was 25 and then they nerfed it to 15. I did think that was a little much, so they gave it back 5%. Okay, here's another change. The damage of the bear swipe has been reduced from 32 to 29. They reduced it by 3 damage. The bear bash attack has been reduced by 3 damage. Animation has been slowed. A 2-hit sequence has been added, and the recovery delay has been increased for the Panther Scratch. So they slowed down the swing speed of Panther, but at the same time, they did buff the damage by 5 on the Scratch and 5 on Neckbite. So when you first look at this, you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Why would they buff Panther? But from what I've been playing, I've been slamming Panthers because it seems like they attack super slow now. It's hard to really tell because it's like, the first day within semi-wipe, so like people aren't full Bis Panther with high action speed, so I don't really know how that's going to be. It is a significant increase in damage on Panther, but if this attack speed or recovery delay on the Panther attacks is significant, I think that could be okay. We'll have to see, though. And then the cooldown of Shapeshift stack has been increased from 9 to 10 seconds. So it's another nerf to the Shapeshift cooldown, which is good. Sorcerer, I don't care about Sorcerer, but I heard that this was a nerf to Sork. Mud Shield has been increased from 4 to 6 seconds. This is good. This promotes melee Sork, which I think they gutted into the ground for whatever reason. I thought it was a really cool concept. Duration of Firewall has been reduced from 12 to 10. That's good. I think Firewall is extremely strong for zoning around doors. Magical damage bonus per stack of mana flow has been changed from 10 to 5. That's a pretty hard nerf. That's the 50% nerf. Damn. Time Distortion has been updated as follows. Applies a magic damage bonus of minus 25. Move speed modifiers changed from minus 1 to minus 3. And now removes only a single stack instead of clearing all stacks. Interesting. I honestly don't even care what that. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know. I think Time Distortion, nobody even runs it anymore anyway because it's kind of bad. But let me know in the comments what you think if you play Sork. A class is cringe, so I don't even care to think. Lightning Bolt attribute bonus ratio has been changed from 1 to 0.5. Okay, so that got nerfed. Cool. I didn't think that was that big of a deal, though. Since they nerfed the Lightning Bolt being able to go through walls, I don't think Lightning Bolt has been that much of an issue. Maybe it's like too strong when you're wielding a spellbook, but I'm not sure. Developer comments. Welcome to EA 6.9, super condensed for 4-week mini season to make the remaining time leading up to the actual major season update more interesting. Cool. SSF mode for 2 weeks. Character levels reset. Quests are easier. Okay, there's a new adventure rank mode. So that's cool. There's like a Midnight Lycan skin. And then there's a Ruins Border skin for the Demigod reward, I believe. So that's cool. Nothing too crazy, but it gives us something to do. They did drop a new religion skin. I actually haven't even looked at it yet. But I know for a fact the religion skin is only 30k instead of the 100k. I think the first religion season was 200k, then they dropped it to 100k. Now it's 30k, which is good. Now it's actually manageable. It's not going to completely destroy the market. And they dropped the religion at the very beginning of the season, which is good. This is what they needed to do if they wanted to do religion. Yeah, there's okay. Once again, there's gonna be a new arena mini season. There's gonna be new maps. This is gonna be interesting. But also, this is gonna be cool. It's gonna be limited to rare, like rare at max, which is gonna allow a lot of people to play, a lot more people, since people aren't gonna get rolled and feel pressure to get like legendary or epic gear. Because I feel like a lot of newer people that play arena, they get to a certain point and they're just like, I can't compete, and so they just stop playing. So with rare gear, I think it'll make it really balanced in arena. And there's a lot of rare craftables that you can use too. There's like demon clads, there's demon grips, brave hunters, wolf hunters. There's a lot of cool things that'll be able to be used, so that'll be good. There's also a lot of cobalt plate and stuff too for fighters and clerics and in warlocks. But yeah, Triumph levels were reset. DLC bonuses will remain active until next season. And then welcome delivery. Yeah. So this is pretty much it. We've introduced a random map system for the High Lord Dungeon to concentrate players for that mode. Yeah, I'm thinking they did this to kind of sustain and kind of compress some of the queues a little bit. But I think they may take this off once the big season drops, as long as like the player base can withhold. But we'll see. But yeah, solo duos trios is added to normals and HR, blah 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 blah. And then they added this. This is interesting. Looks like there's like a preliminary limited native gamepad support for like controller users. So that's cool. Like this has me kind of excited because I think they wanted to release this to console, and if they release this to console, this game will get a lot bigger player base and a lot more eyes on it. So that's definitely nice. Yeah, and then the patch ended. And then they dropped this morning. We will be rolling out Hotfix 95 tomorrow on the 28th. There's several issues. There's a bug going on. Whenever you open your inventory, your frames drop crazy and you start lagging. So it looks like they're going to fix this tomorrow. That'll be nice. But yeah, after playing 10 hours yesterday, I had a blast with SSF. Cooking people all day. I died probably 3 times in 10 hours. My first kit lasted like 5 hours. I dropped a video on it. Check it out. It was a lot of fun. The 0 to hero build. But that's pretty much it. If you guys want to hop in the Discord, if you got any questions for me, if you want me to drop any guides or anything, just let me know, dude. Just tap in. But that's pretty much it. Catch you guys in the next one.